topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert Show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from experts on such topics as legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to our experts in community association law, estate planning law, tax relief, Medicare, public insurance adjusters, neuropathy treatment, business brokers, and personal injury law, along with many other topics. Now here's your host for the last 17 years, Steve O.
Good afternoon, Florida. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show where we bring you, and this is from the bottom of my heart, we bring you the finest experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. We have got a great show for you for the next 25 minutes. This is going to be probably a little bit different show. This man is the finest, no bull at all. This man is the finest Medicare agent I've ever met. And I got to tell you, this man is God sent. We're going to teach you a lot about Medicare because it's right around the corner, but let me introduce you to my pal, Stephen Fromm. Good afternoon, Stephen.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing today?
Well, we're doing okay. I got my hat.
I got my hat. That's all I have for the show.
Hey, I love my hat. You know, I got to tell you, I was thinking about today's show, and this is our Florida show. I'm here in Florida, and we cover probably the eastern part of the United States with this show. And I'm going to tell you something. This man, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, he has been through so much in the last week or two. And I didn't tell him this yesterday, but I didn't think he should do the show today. He has had, and I'll let him get into it as much as he wants, but he wanted to come on the show today. And I'm so proud of him. What this shows me, because when it comes to Medicare, boy, you need someone who's got a heart. You need someone who understands, and you need someone who will guide you, because Medicare is governed, you know what that means. And I'm telling you, I've been through all the steps, and I'm going to just say this, and I have never said this in 17 years. I love this man so much for what he does. He handles my Medicare now. And that is amazing because I've never done that before. But good afternoon, Stephen.
Hey, good afternoon. And I don't know what to say. Thank you very much. I'm humbled.
Hey, this is a talk show, buddy.
Yeah, I'm humbled. I'm humbled by your introduction. So thank you very much. So yeah, it's been a whirlwind journey for me. I would say for the last 4 weeks. I was on a family vacation in Mexico with my family. And then on Saturday, July, 11th, my mom called me, and she lives in Hilton Head, South Carolina, and she fell, and she fell really bad. She had to have reconstructive surgery on her ankle, 1 plate and 8 screws. And we're talking about an 84-year-old woman who's very active. So I spent a 30-hour journey on 3 planes to get to Hilton Head, South Carolina, to take care of my mom because she needed help, and I'm an only child. So it's been a real journey, and I think we talked about it yesterday. This show, advocating for your family, it's a personal experience now. because I had to advocate for my mother to be classified as inpatient at the hospital so she could qualify for the 3-day qualifying hospital stay so that she could go to Medicare and have the 100 days covered. And I had to battle with the hospital for 3 or 4 days to get them to approve my mom as inpatient. And what happened was, because my mom fell, they came to the emergency room, they classified her as an outpatient. And even though she was scheduled for surgery, they still classified her as an outpatient. And this became my battle, because as they explained to me, well, if she had surgery scheduled with a doctor, then she could have come in and she'd be an inpatient. And I said, oh, that's great. But my 84-year-old mother just had reconstructive surgery on her ankle. And what are we doing here? So it took me 72 hours to battle with social workers, get doctors involved, and to finally get her approved for inpatient stay for 3 days. So she qualifies for skilled nursing, and she has original Medicare. And I told you this yesterday, it just so happens that the social worker came into the room and didn't know who I was. I was just sitting there, and told my mom that they were going to treat her as outpatient, and she was going to have to pay for skilled nursing out of her own pocket. And I let her talk, let her do her thing. And I happened to just say to her, excuse me, can I ask you a question, or can I tell you something, first of all? And she was that. I go, I'm a licensed Medicare agent, and this is not going to way it's going to work. It's going to work this way. We're going to get my mom classified as inpatient. She's going to get a 3-day qualifying hospital stay. And this way, when she goes to skilled nursing, where she is right now, she just moved yesterday, that it will be covered. The first 20 days are free, and she has original Medicare, and original Medicare will pick up that remaining, 80 days at $217 a day. So we battled back and forth. I had to get the surgeon involved. I had to get her regular doctor involved. This was a battle to the end, and I was not going to let it go, because I was not paying $600 a day for skilled nursing when my mom was clearly inpatient. Where's an 84-year-old woman going to go that can't put any weight on her foot for 8 weeks? Okay, so this was my battle, which I won.
Stephen, what would have happened if you did not know anything about Medicare?
And that's why we wanted to talk about this show. That's where I find it so important when families work with me. If the fact that this should happen to them, they won't know what to do, but someone like me will advocate for them, and that's why we talk about being an advocate for your family. If someone who's not Medicare experienced, they just would accept it. They would have accepted what they were told, unfortunately, and their loved one would have went to skilled nursing on their own dime. They would have been paying $400 or $500 a day, because they don't know that they need to fight for their family. And unfortunately, I'm going to say this: even though the system is broken, on different levels, and my job is to know that, and to make sure that the families I work with understand that I'm here to help them. In my personal opinion, anyone can sell someone a Medicare plan, but it's everything else that comes with it. I sell you a Medicare plan that meets your needs. I'm going to talk about the cancer, heart attack, stroke, recovery care, whatever it may be, home care. But that's where we take it a little bit further when we're working with families. I will advocate, people, if it was someone who didn't have medical experience, they would have just accepted it. And they would have been paying $500 a day, so $15,000 a month, and $15,000 a month for 3 months. That's $45,000. And this is what we talked about when we were talking about all of our different products are available. If you would incur a $45,000 expense, how would it impact your budget? And 9 out of 10 people would tell me, oh my God, that would really hurt my budget. Or some people, I'd say to them, you'd have to take it from your retirement assets. And if you need $45,000, you're not taking $45,000 from pre-tax money. You're taking a lot more. And so you pay taxes on that. And then maybe because you have that money, now that extra goes towards your IRMA. So now maybe your IRMA goes up too, and your Part D premium. This is all tied together. But just going back, I just happen to be unfortunately, a Medicare agent, and I understood the system. And so, like my mom today, she's like saying to me, "What am I going to pay? What am I going to pay?" I go, "Mom,
Yeah.
you're going to pay the $1,746, your deductible, and with original Medicare, you can stay up here for 100 days, and it's covered. As well as when you go home, the home care will be covered as long as the doctor writes a script. That my mom needs physical therapy, occupation, whatever it may be. They'll write the script, and the home care agency, as long as they're Medicare approved, that'll be covered. But people don't know these things. Some people will just go to any home care company, have to pay for it. That's why you really have to fight for your rights, unfortunately, when it comes to this. And this is something I just learned yesterday. I read an article that someone brought to my attention, which it's kind of mind-boggling, with Medicare Advantage and a similar situation. But let's just say that it is the inpatient hospital stay, and they have to go to skilled nursing. I won't name the carrier, and I will not name the article, but they were using AI to determine how long that person should stay in skilled nursing.
Wow.
They were not using the doctor's notes. They were using AI. Okay. And in the article talks about an example of the person who got kicked out, basically, I'll say, on the 19th day, because after day 20, it's $217 a day. And they got kicked out on the 19th day, but they still needed an additional 8 weeks. So the family couldn't let their loved one leave because they still needed the care. So now the family's on the hook for paying for those additional 8 weeks. So this carrier was a co-pilot program, but still they used it, and they were using AI to determine the length of someone's stay.
Unbelievable.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Unbelievable. And Stephen, you said about Medicare and the program. Anytime the government gets their hands on something, it is impossible. And one of the things, Stephen, I want to make sure that people don't do is try to handle this themselves, because they can walk into your office, they can call you up, they can Zoom with you, and it doesn't cost them anything.
Correct.
And you're going to show them all kind of different programs that if they call one insurance company, that insurance company is not going to tell them anything else besides their company.
They're not going to do the client needs analysis for the first hour like we do. In that first hour, I learn everything about that person, what their needs are, what their current health situations are, their medications. Are they going to stay on an employer plan? Do they have a government plan? Maybe a VA plan? What do they need? Everyone needs something. Everybody needs something. It's just a matter of identifying what that need is and explaining to them how important it is. And, we've talked about this numerous times on our show, that it's not just Medicare. Medicare is great. I'm not going to say Medicare is not great. Medicare is great,
right,
but the system is broken. Okay?
Right.
So if the system is broken, then we have to try to fix it. And if you're not knowledgeable with a broken system, then you're going to get taken advantage of, unfortunately, I'm going to say. And that could have happened to my family. If my mom was by herself, if I wasn't there with my mom, then she would have not known what to do. And she would have been paying $15,000 a month.
And a layman wouldn't have known what to do.
No. And that's why I can't stress enough with the families we work with, I am your trusted advisor for life, not just for this moment that we're going to write Medicare or cancer, heart attack, stroke. We're always talking. We're always checking on each other. We're making sure you're okay. And if this happened to a family, I would want them to be calling me, because I would be on the phone advocating for them, because they may not know what to say or how to do it. And it took me 3 days, and I know what to do. Okay. Nobody would listen to me. I mean, I'm in the social worker. I'm down there. We're going back and forth. And she's like, I don't care. I'm like, well, that's fine. I do. And we're going to fix it. The system is broken. You have an 84-year-old woman here that had just major reconstructive surgery and can't even do, any weight on her feet for any, can't do anything for her foot on 8 weeks. What are we doing here? Why are we not treating this as an inpatient just because she came through the emergency room? but the orthopedic surgeon just saw her and scheduled her for surgery. Why are we still saying she's outpatient? She was outpatient when we walked in the door, but the minute she got scheduled for surgery, she's inpatient. And that's what I had to fight. I had to fight that because they were going to treat her as outpatient because, they don't have to pay. They don't have to pay.
Stephen, I'm going to tell you, it says in the Bible, you'll know the tree by the fruit it bears. And I think about you when I think about that verse in the Bible. Here's a man that could just sit back, do your plan for you. I have never in my life seen a man, and his wife, we got to give her credit too, that I wish you see the hat I'm wearing. That's just like a small portion of it. My girlfriend's got the fan on her desk. And I got to tell you, everything this man does is first class. He does not scrimp on anything. So imagine if he's handling your account. And I just got to tell you, I just turned him on to a friend of mine in California that I feel so good about doing that. But Stephen, people just don't understand. It's very complicated out there.
It is. And with respect to your friend, I have to say thank you to all my clients because they all understood my personal situation. And, because of my new assistant, Jackie, she called everyone up and explained to them, hey, this is what Stephen's going through. Would you mind rescheduling your appointment? And we didn't have one person say no, not one person. We have 41 appointments the week of July 27th right now. And wow. They all were understanding. This is where you time out in your life. This is what's important. I thought I could maybe make some calls, but then I came to realize that it would be impossible. And my mom was my only focus. She was struggling a lot and nothing mattered except for my mom. And now she's safe. And I can start driving home tomorrow to New Jersey from South Carolina. Okay. Our show tomorrow will be from a hotel room in Richmond, Virginia.
Oh, that's right. So I want to tell people, because I was so uneducated about this, and a friend of mine said, have you signed up for Medicare? And I went, is now when I'm supposed to do it? He said, you better do it. I think your birthday's passed. And it was costly to me because I was uneducated. And that's one of the reasons why for the show, because I told Stephen I called a major carrier and I just wanted to see. I called 4 times. Remember, same company, told them, answered all their questions. I got 4 different quotes. Now, folks, that's embarrassing for that company. This should have been 1 quote. And see, When you go through Stephen, he's going to give you several plans, but I guarantee you, whatever he shows you, that's the plan.
Yeah, we're licensed with 25 different carriers. And it's my job, after I do my client needs analysis, to do my due diligence to find the best plan that meets your healthcare needs, meets your medications. But as I tell the families I work with, things are going to change. So let's just not talk about your needs today. Let's think about how things are going to change, especially if you have a chronic condition today. If you have chronic conditions, definitely things are going to change in your life. So let's making sure that we're picking the right plan. And that's, if you're going to travel a lot, I'm sorry, but a Medicare Advantage plan is just not going to work for you. If you're going to travel a lot in the United States, the original Medicare is the best plan because you can go see any doctor or hospital in the United States. A Medicare Advantage plan is going to be too restrictive, especially with the movement now. I'll say this, away from PPOs to HMOs. Seems to be a shift right now. A lot of carriers are shifting. I'm curious to see what it looks like come open enrollment, what the PPO versus HMO ratio is.
And open enrollment starts soon, doesn't it, Steve?
October 15th through December 7th. we will be rocking and rolling. We will be helping a lot of families and making a positive difference. As I say it on every show, we're here to make a positive difference in your life. And that's what we do. And like I said, I have 41 appointments week of July 27th. Every person that was scheduled understood my situation and how important it was to me. Because I had to just say, time out. My mom needs my help. And I'm an only child. And that's it. The buck stops here, you know? And you know what? And I will add this. I will add this to people that are listening. If you do not have your legal paperwork in place right now for your parent, go do it right now. Yeah. Because when my dad passed in 2021, that was the first thing we did, update all legal paperwork. And every single person involved in my mom so far has asked me for a copy of my durable power of attorney. So I've walked around with that piece of paper, and I can't tell you how many photocopies have been made. So if my mom couldn't talk, as I say, if your loved one can't speak, who speaks for them? And in this situation, it was me. And thank God I had that.
We're doing our California show tomorrow, 5:25 Eastern time. And the show before him is an estate planning attorney in New Jersey, right before Stephen's show. So you're absolutely right. That's good advice. One more time, Stephen, someone just asked for your number again.
Sure. They can call me direct on my business cell, which is 908-268-2356. That's my direct line from my business cell.
And stop sounding better than me too, bro.
This is called a very tired voice. This is called a very tired voice of mentally, physically, psychologically, emotionally. It's I'm going to enjoy my drive home, honestly. As I said to my mom, I'm going to be in this car, driving her car home, and it's going to be just quiet.
We love you. You're in our prayers, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, we will. We'll do a great show again tomorrow. I appreciate the opportunity as always, and thank you very much.
Stephen Fromm. We'll see you tomorrow, Stephen. Hey, that's going to do it for us today. We made it through the show. We'll be back tomorrow at 5. Let's see it tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Eastern time, and then at 5 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.